The final shred of the caliphate. Now just a torn-up field littered with clothes, twisted metal, and bodies. The battle for Baghouz is over. After years of war, the Syrian Democratic Forces celebrate their hard-won victory.
We celebrate Operation Jazeera Storm from Baghouz here in the camp where we brought it to an end. IS has been finished as a fighting force. We dedicate this victory to all the people of the world.
Despite vowing to fight to the end, thousands of ISIS members had surrendered. Among them, the unrepentant wives of the jihadists. Hundreds were killed in Baghouz amid a relentless air campaign and the ground assault by the US-backed forces. ISIS remains an insurgent threat in both Iraq and Syria. But its territory, that once stretched across the two countries, has been whittled down to Baghouz. When the guns fell silent here, the caliphate declared 5 years ago by IS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi in Mosul's Al-Nouri Mosque became history, for now. The victorious Kurdish-led forces have called on the US to keep troops in Syria. If the US pulls out, they warn, it is only a matter of time until the IS menace grows again.
Let's bring in Daniel Gerlach, Middle East analyst. Daniel, this has been going on for quite some time. Give us some context here and perspective. How big is this?
Well, certainly it is big. The victory against ISIS, ISIL, whatever you want to call it, Daesh, has been announced several times. Just like, let me remind you that more than a year ago, the Iraqi government already celebrated victory over this organization, and President Trump has celebrated victory over it many times. But this is a decisive victory, of course. Let's not forget, this battle took a long time, and it's also been criticized because it didn't move forward fast enough. Some weeks ago, a French officer who was involved, a high-ranking officer who was involved in this operation, said, we didn't manage this campaign very well, and he was, of course, harshly criticized by the French government before. I think the problem here is, of course, this is an important battle and a decisive victory, but let me say that the powers on the ground are also losing a strategic asset now, because they were united against Daesh, against IS. But now that this so-called caliphate will disappear as a territorial entity and as a military force, the powers around will struggle again. And they will have lost a common enemy, and that is normally not a good thing in geopolitics.
Well, that leads very nicely into the next question I have for you, because in the past, we have all heard of defeats of IS, and they have emerged from some of these defeats. So is this really the end of IS as a body, not just as sort of as a structure, the caliphate, but as a body, as an entity? Is it the end?
I think so far it is the end. The U.S. administration usually uses the term physical caliphate. I don't want to call this an institution, but you can say like the institutionalized jihadism in the form of IS has ended. But of course they can re-emerge easily. In Iraq they have re-emerged. They have created new pockets of resistance, wherever the state power pulls out, they will move back in. And of course the ideology of this jihadist entity is not defeated, and they have many brothers in spirit and ideology across the world. And I think a substantial danger has ceased, but it's not the end of jihadism, not at all.
You're making references, obviously, to sleeper cells who may be anywhere around the world.
Of course, and also some territorial entities. If you look at Africa, the Sahel zone, if you look at Yemen, Afghanistan, like jihadist entities where they also occupy territory, is all across the region.
Daniel Gerlach, Middle East experts, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Much appreciated.